everyone, Cinnamon here, and we're back with another course in Sewing with Cinnamon and Friends. This time we are going to talk about setting sleeves. And for this course, I'm going to be joined by both Sherry Fuller and Donna Kinley, and we're going to show you some tips, tricks, and techniques for setting sleeves successfully in a variety of different types of garments. Setting sleeves can cause a little bit of hesitation, am I right? There are designs that you might look at and you just think there's no way I can figure out how to get that sleeve set in. It just looks a little bit too complicated. As we look at some of the different types, we're going to show you some of the tricks that we use to really just make it easier. And the more you do it, the easier it will get over time. So I'm going to kick things off with the basic setting of a sleeve in a doll clothes pattern. So the big difference between doll clothes sewing and human garment sewing is that we set sleeves in flat, not in the round. And usually there's not a lot of ease in the sleeves because with the doll clothes garments, there's not really that flow of movement and the need to move your arms so much like there is with a human fitting garment. So that brings us back to the doll clothes design where we usually sew the garments shoulder seams first, and then you set your sleeve into that shape, and then you put together the rest of the garment by sewing the underarm and that side seam. Now there is a rare occasion, we do have some patterns that really follow true garment construction detail. Melody Valerie Couture is one of the lines that does this, and she has some designs where the sleeve is set in the round. So we will touch on that a little bit at the end of the course. But back to where I'm going to kick things off. So I'm going to touch on setting a flat sleeve with no gathers, just a regular set-in sleeve that will be in a knit and a woven, and I'll show you a little bit of a difference between a gentle curving cap and something that has a little bit more extreme cap and the tricks you can use to set that in. Then Sherry's going to join us in part 2 with a look at setting in a gathered sleeve, and that can bring up so many challenges of its own, just getting the gathers set even, having them not get stuck into the seam allowance, causing tucks that you don't want. So Sherry has some genius tricks and she's going to share those with us as she demonstrates setting in a gathered sleeve. And then as we go into part 3, we are going to have Donna Kinley with us, and she is introducing her newest pattern called Tulips, and that is highlighting a tulip sleeve. So if you've never seen a tulip sleeve, it is 2 parts that come together and overlap, and it creates a beautiful design detail. So Donna is going to jump in. She's going to show us how that sleeve comes together and how it's set into the garment. And along with that, we have a beautiful new Pixie pack that we're super excited to introduce. This one is featuring a Liberty Tonalon. It's a really, really nice fabric, a delicate floral print, and then we have it paired with 2 contrasting solids that are also lawn fabrics, so they're all matching in weight, and you can use those fabrics as the contrast color and for the lining. It also has some coordinating buttons, so you can really pull this together beautifully. So I encourage you to take a look at that kit along with some of the other kits that we have on the site. You can use those fabrics for a variety of these patterns. And then as we wrap up the topic, we'll touch on a few things that will come up in different types of garment construction. So there are little details like which way does your seam allowance go? Or how do you ease in a sleeve that you might think is using gathers, but technically they're not gathers. It's shaping the sleeve with the technique called easing. And then we'll also show you a very beautiful detailed finish for finishing that inside sleeve seam allowance by covering that with an arm's eye binding. So I really encourage you to just get one of your favorite patterns or try the new 2 Tulips pattern and get your fabric, and then come on in and follow us along as we demonstrate how to successfully set sleeves into your garment every time.